This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn to a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess. At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards premieres August 5th on FX and Hulu. You know what's really terrifying? That unfinished college degree lurking in the background, just sitting there, waiting for you. That's where Southern New Hampshire University comes in. With flexible online degree programs, there's no commuting, no rigid schedule, and no more excuses. Plus, they have some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to learn more, before your degree becomes just another story about what could have been. These long dog days of summer, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to, probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this is Morbid.
This is morbid.
I started that with no warning, so I do have to give you like a little...
For just jumping right in.
You jumped right in, yeah. I was like, oh, I have to yawn. I have to burp. Hold on. And then I was like, okay, hey, weird. And you were like, whoa.
I was like, all right, here I am.
You said, I'm looking for a fun fact.
Here I am.
Here she be.
Here I do.
What's up?
I don't know.
Today, Elena said, whatever, I'm getting cheese fries.
It's true. I literally said that and then I got cheese fries.
We got Wendy's, you guys.
And it was right.
I didn't get a faux-faux. I got...
Bringing it back.
Do they sell that still?
I don't think they have a faux-faux anymore, but I don't know. I'm not positive.
I don't know either. Wendy's?
I'm speaking out of my ass. Like, I don't have any clue if they have a faux-faux.
So, well, then why would you tell me that they...
Because it felt like a long-running little special.
Yeah.
You know, if they still have a faux-faux.
But maybe it's like the dollar menu and it's just always there.
Maybe.
Oh, I used to fuck so heavy with that when I was in high school.
We love a dollar.
Because we were broke as hell. And we were like, oh, minimum wage.
Let's go
Get us some dinner at Wendy's for $1. True.
Those were the days.
They were. And so were the faux days.
Yeah.
Now, I just got a Dave single, like with a combo.
Which was great.
I think it was probably like $9.
I got spicy nuggets.
Because she's reckless.
Spicy nuggies are my favorite.
I know. You always get spicy nuggies.
I love a little spice.
We know. We know,
just a
Mama.
little spice.
A little spice. I can't do the spicy nuggies because of IBS.
Yeah.
You know,
IBS girlies rise up.
Yeah, and I get heartburn.
I know.
Yeah.
That sucks.
You don't get heartburn.
No, I don't. Which is like, I feel precarious saying that.
How does it feel to be John's favorite? Yeah, I know. To be 40 and say that you don't get heartburn, life is like, oh, we haven't given that to you.
Oh, we forgot.
Fuck, here you go.
I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, thank you, universe.
I just thought of something that I've never gotten, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not
shit,
going to.
Now I want to know what it is.
I'll tell you later, maybe. I'll I'll sign it to you.
Okay.
But I'm not saying it. I'm not going to speak it into existence. It's just a task that most people have to fulfill.
Oh, I know exactly
By the
what
time
it
you
is.
turn when you turn 18. I didn't know. I didn't. No, I didn't say it. No, I didn't say it.
You said it without saying it.
But I didn't say it. So husha, husha, husha.
I think you all know what she's talking about. What task she has not been
Called
given.
for.
Called for even more.
Don't call me. I'm busy.
Guys, say it to her.
No, I'm going to kick you. I'm going to kick you in the shin. I'm going to come over there and I'm going to hiya your foot.
Just fill it with boop.
What?
Just fill the comment section with boop.
No. Don't. What are you doing?
I'm just kidding.
What are you doing?
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not going. I'm not. I won't go.
I mean, legally.
I think you get arrested. All right. Moving on. Moving away from that task.
You're screwed.
You're screwed. Anyways, this is part 2 of a 2-part series. It kind of reminded me of that song where you're like, standing outside with my mouth open wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, it's been it's been a crazy day.
It has been a crazy day.
A good day.
Yeah. Good day.
Yeah, a good day. Just like a little kooky day. We've been a little silly.
It's been a kooky week.
Yeah.
It's weird because I think is today Thursday?
Yeah.
Something.
I don't know.
I think it's Thursday.
Days don't have meaning anymore.
I woke up and I thought it was Monday.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think every day is a weekend when the kids are out of school. So
yeah, that's true.
Nothing makes sense to me anymore.
Where am I?
Yep.
All right. Well, speaking of kooky days.
Yeah.
This is a kooky part 2. It's obviously very tragic, but my God, this woman.
Yeah. Already I'm like, whoa.
Blanche.
Nothing like my pup.
Nothing like your pup. Really only a little bit like Blanche Devereaux, the character.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was a flirt, but she
That's
wasn't a murderess.
Yeah, that's where the comparison ends.
So at the end of part 1, Blanche's long-term boyfriend passed away suddenly. That was Raymond Reed. And it seemed it could have been from Guillain-Barré syndrome. Her husband James had also passed suddenly not too long ago, and they thought that was potentially due to heart problems. And before that, her father passed away under strange circumstances. But at the time of each death, nobody really looked at the deaths as anything other than, just a tragedy.
Yeah.
They didn't think any foul play was involved or anything like that. But Miss Blanche, let me remind you, now the oldest woman on death row, her luck was going to run out eventually. And can I just tell you, it's kind of like an episode of The Pit, but like even better.
Oh.
It's like The Pit with arrests.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was an arrest on the Pit.
Wasn't it a bad arrest, though?
It was a dumb one. What's her name? The red-headed one?
Oh, McKay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that arrest.
When they arrested McKay, and I was like, pfft.
Yeah, fuck that. I hated
Yeah, I
that.
was pissed about that.
Oh, well, you know what? You haven't finished season 2 yet.
No.
There's a good arrest in season 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think he gets arrested. So yeah, it's like The Pit with arrests.
It's like The Pit.
And it's also kind of like House. It's
okay.
a little bit like House.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm locked in.
So we'll get there. It's
Okay.
a little toward the end.
Whoa.
Now, whoa. You said you were locked in and then it felt like you were backtracking.
I'm like, can I be locked in for that long?
You have to be.
All right,
It's your literal job.
Yeah.
All right. So Raymond's death removed one obstacle from Blanche, and don't forget Pastor Dwight. Pastor Dwight going public with their relationship. And when the lawsuit against Kroger was settled in the summer of 1987, they were finally able to be together without fear of consequences. Because remember, part of the reason that they were kind of like living their relationship out in the shadows was that Blanche said her ordeal with Robert Hutton at Kroger made it so that she couldn't be with men.
Oh, yes.
So she gets the settlement and all of a sudden she's cured.
Yes.
After the lawyers were paid, the settlement left Blanche with about $100,000. So for now, her money problems were also gone. That summer, she and Dwight planned to get married, but that plan had to be put on hold when, just 1 month after the settlement, Blanche was diagnosed with breast cancer. The doctor told her it was luckily still early enough that the cancer could be treated if she had a double mastectomy. And the idea of surgery was obviously devastating to her, but she went ahead with it, and it was successful at removing her cancer. After that, she got some reconstructive surgery done, and in the end, nobody could really tell that she had gone through this in the first place. Now, with her surgery out of the way, Dwight slowly started introducing Blanche to his family and his friends. They found her to be somewhat strange and not really anything like his previous wife. Blanche told them that she was a devout Christian, but she also didn't seem focused on the things that, like, I guess supposedly good Christian women do.
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
I was going to say.
It just makes me think of that TikTok where it's like, she's a Bible girl who reads her Bible.
What?
I think I misquoted it.
I've never got that.
No. What does he say? Go home and read her Bible. I think it was a Vine. I'm going to find it.
I've
Hold on.
never received that on my For You page.
Yeah, well, you should. What does he say? Yeah.
I want a church girl that go to church and read her Bible.
That's what it is. I want a church girl that goes to church and read her Bible.
I love that.
That's what his family wanted.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
This episode might be unhinged because we're unhinged.
We're very unhinged right now.
So, however off-putting they might have found her, it was obvious that Dwight really adored Blanche. So his family was like, okay, let's try to give her a chance. And nobody really went to him and was like, we wish she was a church girl who went to church and read her Bible.
And read her Bible.
Her Bible. Now, Blanche, while she was getting to know her soon-to-be family, she was also increasing the distance between herself and Raymond's family, her boyfriend that had passed away. They'd been together for over 10 years at that point, so she had become very close with his children, Ray and Stevie. But after they all agreed to split up the inheritance 3 ways, Ray and Stevie just really didn't see or hear from Blanche all that much anymore. Now, at the time, they were obviously grieving the loss of their father and really not in any place to be dealing with his estate. So they considered it a blessing that Blanche was there, sweet Blanche, to help them with everything.
Sweet Blanche.
But after several months had passed and they were out of the initial stages of grief, things were starting to look pretty fucking suspicious.
Yeah.
When Raymond died, Blanche told his sons that he had written a will, and it dictated that his estate, which included a pension from Kroger and a life insurance policy, was to be split between all 3 of them. That's what she said.
Okay.
Once they had time to go over their dad's documents, though, their opinion of Blanche started to change. They weren't as thankful for her anymore.
Oh, no.
For one thing, when they went to see a lawyer with a copy of Raymond's will, they learned that it said absolutely nothing about splitting anything with Blanche.
Oh.
Yeah. Their father had
Lies.
left everything to the 2 of them and made Blanche the executor.
Oh.
She didn't get anything. She was just supposed to see
divvy
to
it up.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So by the time they got around to seeing the will, most of the estate had already been divided, though. Now, not long after Blanche finished her reconstructive surgery, Stevie Reed called and confronted her about the money. Not wanting to make things any more difficult, he actually took a pretty reasonable position. He was like, what was done was done. You've already got some piece of it.
Like, that's fucked up.
We're not going to take the money back. But the life insurance money hadn't been paid out yet. I think it was just the pension. So he was like, when that gets paid out, we're not giving you a third of it.
No.
Because you're not entitled to it.
You're not in the will.
As far as the estate went, there wasn't really much to speak of. The real payout was the life insurance. So when Stevie told Blanche that they weren't splitting it with her, she lost her fucking mind.
Oh, man.
She went on a tirade about the will and the letter that Raymond had supposedly written before his death, laying out his wishes. This tactic of high-pressure insistence had always worked for her in the past.
Yeah.
But Stevie held his position.
Good.
And insisted something about this all just wasn't right.
Yep.
So when she realized that he wasn't going to back down, she yelled at him to keep the damn money and basically never speak to her again.
Okay.
That was really the last time that his Raymond's sons ever heard from Blanche.
Honestly, good.
Yeah. But it's like bullshit that she did get money from the estate.
She got stuff.
Like, and she
stole
wasn't
it.
entitled to it.
No.
And honestly, big of them to let her have it.
I was going to say, that was really big of them.
But the sad thing is, if they sued her for it, they probably would have spent all the money that they were getting in fees.
Yeah, it's honestly not worth it.
No, it's not, unfortunately. Now, the money she had received from Raymond's estate had already run out. Whoa. And with all the hospital bills and the time that she had been out of work for her reconstructive surgery, the money from her settlement with Kroger wasn't going to last her much longer. So a few days after her conversation with Stevie, Blanche brought up the potential of marriage with Dwight because she's like, I got to hitch my fucking ride to somebody.
Yeah, of course.
And he was just as enthusiastic as he had been in the past. But before they went forward with their marriage, he said he wanted to tell her about his past relationship.
Oh.
So they drove into the mountains for the weekend to get away, and Dwight told Blanche the full story of how his marriage had fallen apart, about his 17-year affair with his secretary, and about how he had lost his congregation as a result. But also, Blanche doesn't have a leg to stand on
No,
because
she doesn't.
she cheated on her husband for the better part of their marriage.
Exactly.
With multiple men.
Yeah.
She also cheated on her mister with other men.
On her mister.
Yeah. Now, Dwight knew that the affair was wrong, he said, but he also said he knew how much he loved Eileen and genuinely believed that they would end up married. That was his mistress. So he said while he wasn't proud of the affair, he didn't regret the relationship. Now, given how close they'd become over the previous year, Dwight probably expected some amount of sympathy and compassion from Blanche. She does want to marry him after all. So he was stunned when she just quietly called him a sinner and kind of shut down.
Whoa.
Rather than listening to his story without judgment or disapproval, she was devastated, and she insisted that he turn the car around and take her home immediately. Instead, he pulled over, and he gave her a minute to collect her thoughts, and then listened as she told him about her father and all the awful things that he had done throughout his life. Clearly, she was feeling triggered by the honesty.
Yeah.
Because remember, her dad was a huge womanizer. Now, after the confessional car ride, things between Dwight and Blanche kind of went back to normal. Or at least Dwight thought they did. Blanche, on the other hand, was still harboring very intense feelings of betrayal. And she was pretending everything was okay when they were together, but she couldn't help let some of her anger seep out around Dwight's family. One afternoon, she and Dwight's daughter, Debbie, went out together shopping. And Blanche kind of started to pry about how Debbie and her brother, Doug, felt about their father's divorce and all the events that had led up to it. And Debbie said they really didn't have any anger towards their father, and both she and Doug understood that sometimes things don't work out with people. That kind of should have put the matter to rest, you would think. But Blanche pressed on. She outright called Dwight's previous mistress a slut.
Whoa.
And said that Debbie's mother must absolutely hate her dad for what he did. But Debbie insisted everybody moved on amicably, we're all over it.
Let it go.
Let it go, exactly.
Yeah.
It really wasn't your situation.
No.
Blanche lost her shit, though, when Debbie was like, it's fine, everything is cool. She told Debbie her father, aka the man Blanche is about to marry, was a wicked, evil man who deserved whatever karmic retribution he got.
What?
Yeah. So Debbie was like, what the fuck?
Debbie's like, I'm sorry, what?
But she chalked Blanche's response up to her religious upbringing because Dwight had told his daughter that Blanche had been raised in a fundamentalist religious community that had very outdated views. So Debbie was like, okay, maybe her outburst is just a result of those views, I guess.
People are so much more understanding than I am.
Same. I would have
lost
my shit.
To be quite honest.
I would have lost my shit.
Because I'd be like, that's insane what you just said.
It's also her father.
How you reacted.
I'd be like, you're not going to marry my dad now.
I'd be like,
I
I'm going to make sure of it.
So she was like, okay, I'm going to let that go. But she put that into her back pocket. She never forgot that shit.
Smart.
And she really never felt entirely comfortable around Blanche again.
Yeah, I imagine.
I wouldn't either. Now, I think it's sweet. She never told her dad that this happened.
I mean, that was kind of her.
Because I think she just didn't want to fuck things up for him.
And hurt him.
Yeah, and hurt him, exactly, because he really loved Blanche. He was, he wanted to marry her. He wanted to continue his life with her.
Because I imagine in her case that she's like, well, he's not going to not marry her.
Yep.
He loves her. Mm-hmm. So all I would be doing is hurting his feelings.
Exactly.
Is that really worth, if he's going to go through with it anyways, am I going to pile on hurt feelings as well? Which, again, that's pretty smart and pretty kind.
It's also just such a shitty position.
An awful position.
And I also wonder if she was somewhat afraid of Blanche.
Probably.
Because that was very wild behavior to
that would
display.
freak me out.
Yeah. I'd be like, I don't want to be involved in
this. Yeah, I don't like when people are over the top like that. It's
I don't either.
Dude, get it together.
So she never said anything about Blanche's outburst. So as far as Dwight was concerned, things couldn't have been better. He didn't know anything about karmic retribution that he was in for. So in the summer of 1988, they started making plans, official plans for their wedding. It was to be a fall wedding at Dwight's congregation just after Thanksgiving. Everyone in Dwight's family was pretty excited when they heard the news. Dwight's sister Nola said, "We thought Blanche would be a tremendous asset to Dwight's ministry." Blanche's daughters, on the other hand, were less enthusiastic about their mother's new fiancé.
Yeah.
Cindy said, "We're capable of a good deep belly laugh. He's capable of a giggle." They just didn't feel like he really fit in.
Yeah.
It also didn't help that her daughters were really attached to Raymond after their father passed, because he was a huge part of their lives.
Yeah.
And they kind of always hoped that Raymond and Blanche would end up together. So this was a little tough.
It's tough for everybody.
Yeah. Now, as they were planning the wedding, Blanche revealed to Dwight that her daughters were going to be the ones paying for the reception.
Oh.
Up until that moment, Dwight had never considered Blanche's finances or her source of income, which is wild because, like, I'm not blaming him, but, like, when you are getting married to someone, please get an idea of their financial picture.
Yeah, just for future reference.
Because you're tying yourself to their debt.
Yeah, your stuff is their
issues.
stuff. Their stuff is your stuff.
Now, he knew that she got some money from Raymond's death and the settlement from the Kroger suit, but that was really all he knew. I don't know that he knew how fast she was running out of that. When it came to his finances, the complete opposite was true. Once they decided to get married, he gave every detail about his income sources to Blanche, including his life insurance policy and retirement package.
Oh, boy.
She had a full view of everything.
Oh, boy.
Now, as Thanksgiving approached, Dwight was getting more and more excited about the wedding. But just a few weeks before the wedding was supposed to take place, his enthusiasm was cut short when he suddenly became very ill. It started with a terrible case of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. And what was weird was that he never really had stomach issues before this. So he kind of chalked it up to just nerves and excitement and stress leading up to the wedding. But a few days later, he was still experiencing these kind of GI symptoms. And then his symptoms elevated to also include a skin rash and numbness and tingling in his arms and hands.
Oh, that's not good.
So the new symptoms concerned him enough to go see his doctor, who diagnosed him with shingles, the same illness that Raymond had been diagnosed with prior to his death.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
1 week before the wedding, Dwight and Blanche managed to make it out to go to dinner and then returned home and went to bed. Dwight's stomach had been bothering him since they got home, which he figured maybe he just ate something weird.
Yeah.
So he went to bed. But unfortunately, not long after laying down, he bolted upright and projectile vomited across the room.
Oh my God.
And then just collapsed on the bed in pure agony.
Holy shit.
The next morning, he was still in too much pain and too sick to do his usual visits with parishioners. And strangely, to his surprise, Blanche, who ate the same exact meal that he had the night before, was the very picture of health.
Oh.
So it wasn't the food.
Weird.
Yeah. Now, the theory that Dwight had been experiencing some sort of food poisoning became even less plausible as his symptoms persisted for days at a time.
Yeah.
After a while, he would get better and think that whatever it was had passed, only to have the painful nausea and the agonizing symptoms return at the worst possible times, like when he was driving or giving a sermon.
Oh, no.
Imagine you're in the middle of church, like trying to like lift people up, and then you just have to go vomit.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So things became more alarming on the afternoon of Blanche's physical with her doctor for the marriage license, which, by the way, I looked this up. It's been phased out since, but up until like the 80s/90s, you had to get a physical before you got married to get your marriage license.
Really?
They wanted to rule out like syphilis and like any kind of like
I didn't know that.
infectious diseases.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? It's not a thing anymore. But you used to have to get a full-blown blood test.
Damn.
Summer always seems to fly by, and July is one of the busiest months out of the year. Between vacations, summer activities, and weekend getaways, keeping everyone healthy while staying on budget can be a challenge. That's where GoodRx can help. With GoodRx, you can find free coupons and compare prescription prices to save on medications for yourself, your family, and even your pets. GoodRx is free and it's easy to use. Just search for your prescription on the website or the app, compare prices, and get a free coupon to show your pharmacist. Use GoodRx to save at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide, including Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Publix, Kroger, and so many more. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not, and it could even beat your insurance copay price. I myself have insurance, but whenever I'm rolling up to the pharmacy, I am opening my GoodRx app and seeing what's available as far as coupons go. I hand it right over to the pharmacist working, and they're always like, girl, I know you're going to have your GoodRx ready. We're ready for you to give it to us. And I end up saving, and they're like, we got to tell more people about this. Save time and money at the pharmacy this summer. Go to goodrx.com/morbid. That's goodrx.com/morbid. Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Now, the doctor gave Blanche a clean bill of health, but he was slightly concerned about how Dwight looked. He was like, "You don't look so good.
You look like shit, my
He was
guy.
like, "I might not give you this fucking marriage license." The Reverend assured the doctor that he was just experiencing a flu, like a terrible flu.
Really bad one.
Yeah. And he said, "I'm going to take some medication when I get home. I'll be all right." As they were driving, he felt another wave of nausea, though, wash over him, and he quickly pulled over to the side of the road with just enough time to get his door open to vomit. And behind him, he could hear Blanche laughing at the fact that she was the one coming from the doctor, but he was the one vomiting.
Imagine you're vomiting and your partner is laughing at
Your
you.
fiance, who you're due to marry in like 6 days. If Drew ever laughed at me while I was vomiting,
Oh my God.
there would be, I love you, babe. There would be a safe corner on this earth. I'd lose my shit.
Are you kidding me?
Like, what?
Oh, that's awful.
Now, he might have found it humorous as well, but when he looked at the ground, he saw streaks of red blood in his vomit.
Oh no.
So things were escalating here. In the days that followed, it became abundantly clear that he was far too sick to go through with the wedding. So they pushed it back 6 weeks to give him time to recoup.
You gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, why is no one going to the hospital?
He's about to go to the hospital.
Okay.
Things only continued to get worse. Within a day or two of that doctor's appointment, that was Blanche's, Dwight's symptoms became much worse. He was nauseous pretty much constantly, and now his abdomen was starting to swell.
Oh.
So this time,
Go
he
to the
didn't bother
hospital.
with just going to a doctor,
Yeah.
like a doctor's appointment. Instead, he had Blanche drive him straight to the hospital.
Yeah.
They waited in the emergency room for hours. The ER doctors ran some tests, they took an x-ray, and they diagnosed him with a bowel obstruction.
Oh shit.
Now, they recommended that he go home and rest, consume a liquid diet, and then it would eventually pass. I don't think it was like super big at this point. Also, it was the 80s, like almost the 90s.
Oh my guys.
So
It's pretty serious.
he did as they suggested, but less than 24 hours passed before he was back at the hospital.
Yeah.
More x-rays were taken, more tests were run, but the doctors were pretty confused about what this was.
Maybe you should keep him in the hospital.
Maybe you should admit him.
Yeah.
In the x-rays, they could clearly see a mass, but they couldn't figure out what it was because it had gotten bigger. But no cancer that they knew of grew with like that exponentially within 24 hours. So weirdly, so he's told he has a mass. He's told it's getting bigger. Despite not having any explanation for what this mass in the x-ray is, Blanche immediately ran to the phone and called Dwight's sisters to tell them that it was cancerous.
Huh.
The mass in his intestines was cancerous.
She loves to call family members and prematurely diagnose or call for time of death.
Yep.
Yeah.
She sure does before calling anybody
That's wild.
for emergency services.
She's wild.
She's a wild lady.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. So After talking over their different options for what they could do here, the ER doctors explained that they did want to do surgery to remove the mass. But the problem was his heart was showing signs of stress that were very concerning.
Yeah.
And that came as a surprise to Dwight because as far as he knew, his heart was strong. He never really smoked or drank to excess. And like he exercised. Like
never had a problem before.
No, he never had an issue. But when doctors looked at the results from his EKG, the results appeared to be the profile of a much older person who had suffered heart problems for years. So he was like, what the fuck is happening to my body?
What is going on?
Now, he agreed to do the surgery, and a few days later, he was administered the anesthetic and wheeled into the OR. But when the surgeon cut into his intestine, they were stunned to find that contrary to the x-ray, there was no cancerous mass or mass at all in Dwight's intestine.
What?
There was no sign of any kind of blockage either. His intestines were just inflamed.
What the fuck?
But there was no mass, and they had seen a mass on the x-ray. So the inflammation didn't account for what they saw on the x-ray.
Yeah.
Nothing about this made any kind of fucking sense.
Yeah, apparently.
And they would have known if he had passed the blockage, so it wasn't that either. Now, just to be certain that they didn't miss anything, this is so gross. The surgeons pulled out the entire length of Dwight's intestines and inspected them from one end to the other.
Holy shit.
You know how long intestines are.
Yeah.
They inspected them.
And that's just like tedious.
And also recovering from that.
Yeah.
Having your fucking, you're literally being disemboweled.
Yeah, literally.
And then reboweled.
Yeah.
They found nothing. So they put everything back and they sewed him up.
Wow.
Now, when he came out of surgery and was conscious enough to speak to the doctors, they explained that they hadn't found anything during his surgery. And the best they could estimate was maybe he had a kink in his intestines and they worked that out.
Wow.
Now, the news that he was cancer-free obviously came as a relief, but a surgery like this had been very traumatic and it was also going to take a long time to recover. So he was going to need to take it easy. Now, fortunately, he had Blanche by his side.
Yeah, thank goodness.
She said she would be there to help him through. She told his family, Dwight and I are going to live in sin for a while because I'm going to have to move in with him to care for him.
Okay.
So they did.
Great.
As the weeks passed after the surgery, Dwight started talking about the wedding again, but Blanche insisted he was too ill to think about that. She was like, we don't need to talk about a wedding.
We don't need that.
She might have been right, but he was insistent that they at least kind of restart any kind of preparation. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, before they could get to that, Dwight's doctors found another mass in his x-ray during a follow-up visit. Initially, they expected to find evidence of some kind of intestinal problem, but when they looked at the new x-ray, they found an entirely new mass in a different area, roughly the same size as the previous one. Now, since it wasn't possible for that original mass to have worked its way back up to the original spot, they knew it was different. But since it wasn't long enough after the initial surgery, they couldn't do another surgery. They can't just open you back up again.
Keep opening you up.
So after the follow-up appointment, they kept an eye on the mass. But since Dwight's symptoms seemed to have improved a little bit, they weren't as concerned.
Okay.
Then, in winter, as the new wedding date approached, Dwight's previous symptoms appeared with a ferocity that he had not yet experienced. Blanche rushed him to the hospital. He was admitted immediately and hooked up to a ton of machines to monitor his very erratic vital signs. By that time, there was fluid amassing in his lungs, and he was experiencing painful diarrhea and vomiting a quote-unquote milky foam.
Ugh.
Yeah. So once he was stable enough for surgery, his doctors opened up his intestines for a second time, and for a second time, found absolutely nothing. No mass, no blockage, just irritation.
This is horrifying.
It really is. So he managed to recover much faster than he had before, and he was able to be discharged after 2 weeks in the hospital. But in that time, he had the opportunity to consider his relationship with Blanche. It occurred to him that she hadn't been as present at the hospital as she was the first time. It's weird because he got better faster when she wasn't there.
Weird.
Also, for that matter, she didn't really seem as committed to being his nurse during what was expected to be another long recovery now that he was out of the hospital. Now he's just thinking maybe she doesn't want to be there for me anymore. He's not thinking the worst. So he decided not to bother Blanche with his recovery for the second time, and instead he took up his sister Nola on the offer to come stay with her and her husband. To his surprise, when he told Blanche his plans, she kind of seemed offended. She was like, you don't think you can rely on me?
No.
And he was like, well, you didn't seem interested at all, so I thought I was like taking something out of your plate or off your plate. But she was like, whatever.
It's like, okay.
So he went to stay with his sister.
I have to like try to survive this. Like, Jesus.
Also, mind you, this is his fiance.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, okay, I'm sorry for bothering you with my intestinal issues.
Damn.
So
I feel bad.
I feel so bad
This is
for
awful.
him. During the weeks that he was with his sister, Blanche never visited, and she didn't call him, he called her.
My God.
They only spoke a handful of times when he called, and each time Blanche was distant or dismissive. So Nola, his sister, and her husband kind of read these, like, Blanche's behavior as signs that their relationship was on the decline and they probably weren't going to get married. But Dwight assumed it was just Blanche's personality. He was like, that's just how she is.
Very forgiving.
Yeah.
Better people than I.
He's very forgiving.
Yeah.
If he was overly optimistic, it might have had something to do with his speedy recovery. Because not only was he healing quickly from the surgery itself this time, but all of his other agonizing symptoms also seemed to be clearing up. Because he was staying with his sister and Blanche wasn't visiting.
Exactly.
As far as he was concerned, though, everything was on track to getting back to normal. And maybe they could get married.
Oh, man.
This poor man.
Run away.
I know. So by February 1989, the last of Dwight's symptoms had faded and he was finally feeling like himself again. And now that his illness was behind him, he really was so excited to get back to Blanche. He really missed her.
That's so sad.
In March, he got a call from his son, Doug, inviting his dad to come to New Jersey and visit and meet his new grandchild. Dwight could not have been more excited. But before making plans to travel, he talked to Blanche and he said, I really want you to join me. Like, I want you to meet my grandchild, but as my wife. I really want to marry you. So with all the talk of marriage they'd been through and all the times that Blanche had declined or just put him off, he expected her to have some other reason why they couldn't get married this time. But to his surprise, she accepted the invitation.
It's because she's not done yet.
Yeah. Now, rather than go through with yet another potentially frustrating experience of planning like a bigger wedding, only to keep pushing it back, they did get married in a very small ceremony on April 19th with Dwight's friend, Reverend Jim Rosser, officiating. With all the chaos of the doctors and the hospitals in the recent months, there wasn't time and there really wasn't money for a lavish honeymoon, so they decided to consider the trip to New Jersey their honeymoon. The next day, Blanche and Dwight got into his car. They drove to visit Doug, finally as husband and wife. Now, shockingly, the visit to New Jersey passed without incident. And after a few days with Doug's family, Blanche and Dwight were on the road, headed back to North Carolina. For several weeks at this point, Dwight had been symptom-free, felt like he was finally getting his life back, got to meet his grandchild, hang out with his kids, no issue. But that all came to an end on the trip back home. While they were on the Cape May ferry, Dwight was standing by the railing and he was just looking out at the water, and all of a sudden he got hit with a super intense wave of nausea. At first, he was like, okay, maybe I'm just seasick, but within a few minutes, there was no point in denying the obvious. As soon as they got home, he went to lay down, and the next morning he was feeling slightly better. That same morning, he visited some parishioners, he returned home, he put on his gardening clothes, he went out to spray the weeds and the dandelions with weed killer. Around noon, Blanche returned home from shopping, and she called Dwight into the house to have some lunch. She picked up chicken sandwiches on the way home.
Oh no, don't eat what she's giving you.
No. Over lunch, he listened to Blanche talk about the plans she had to fix up their small house. And then, without any warning, Dwight stood up from the table and projectile vomited so violently that the force struck the far wall.
My God.
He literally projectile vomited across a room and hit another fucking wall.
This is torture.
It is torture. It's slow.
Like, this is so
agonizing
slow
torture.
This is awful.
It is. So when that finally stopped, he fell to his knees, then flat on the floor face down, which, like, I would never allow my husband to fall on the floor face down while he was vomiting. I'd be right there holding him. But he vomited again, face down on the floor.
Oh.
Throughout that entire vomit stream across the room, and then when he fell to the floor, Blanche never stopped talking about hanging curtains and blinds and fixing up the house. Even as she finally helped him get off the kitchen floor and walked him to the bedroom, she was just going on and on about home renovations, despite the full-blown fucking crisis unfolding before her.
She is an evil, evil lady.
To be able to be that removed from a situation that I think we all know she created.
Inhuman.
Yeah.
Because even if she didn't create that, obviously she's on death row.
Yeah.
But
even
if she didn't create that, to be that insensitive to the suffering of someone you are claiming to love,
someone you're married to,
is inhuman in a way I cannot comprehend.
No.
Like, that's so scary.
It is.
To think of this man just suffering like that for so long.
It's so
and she's
sad.
not only indifferent, she's just like, it's not even, like, it doesn't hit her in any way.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Like, that's horrifying. That's so brutal. It's
so sad.
This is brutal in such a different way than what we usually see with these kind of things.
And like violent in
very
a different
violent,
way.
Very gruesome.
Because it's like slowly killing somebody and watching it all happen.
For months and months and months and months. Like,
truly.
Holy shit.
It's remarkable that he made it through some of this.
Oh.
Now, the next day, Dwight went to the ER, but found little help there. The attending physician consulted with a doctor who originally diagnosed Dwight with the bowel obstruction. And after hearing the whole story, he just prescribed medication and sent him home. But it's like, guys, something is wrong here. Later that night, Blanche was sweet enough to make Dwight some soup. But then he became violently ill again.
Oh my God.
Almost like the medication wasn't in his system at all. He begged Blanche to take him back to the hospital. And once there, it was a repeat of the day before. The doctor looked him over, discharged him with medication. Dwight begged the doctor to please admit him. He was like, no, something more is going on here. But the doctor told him he didn't have time to do the required work of referring him to another doctor. So he had to go home. The healthcare system.
I was literally just going to say healthcare in America, everybody.
Yeah. People in other countries are probably like, what the fuck?
They're like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, yes, we are asking the same thing. How the fuck did this happen?
This same thing is probably happening right now as we speak.
It's 2026 and it's probably still happening. That's fucking ridiculous.
It is. To look at somebody and just be like, yeah, sorry, I don't have the time. Oh, okay.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's such an awful system. So that night, he's discharged again. The scene replays itself all over again. Blanche made Dwight soup. He ate it. Almost immediately, he became violently ill. Begs Blanche to drive him to the ER for, the third time? She begrudgingly agreed to do so. That's the other thing. She was like, oh, he had to beg her to drive him.
Oh my God.
This time, though, he insisted that they drive 40 miles to North Carolina Memorial Hospital. Unfortunately, the doctors there at the new emergency room were no more sympathetic than they had been at the last hospital.
This is disgusting.
And they did the exact same thing. Medication, go home to rest.
That's horrific.
And it's like, guys, it's well
Clearly
documented that the
something is
medication is not doing anything.
Yeah.
2 days passed, and by that Friday morning, Dwight was barely able to move or stand up, and he was just in constant pain. Like,
that's awful.
True agony.
Yeah.
Blanche dismissed his complaints for hours, but eventually relented and drove him back to the hospital.
Christ.
This time, the attending doctor took one look at him and immediately admitted him into the ICU.
Finally.
It's sad. Like, I've had great experiences with like doctors and everything.
Yeah.
But I've heard these horror stories where some of them don't have the time and they're overworked.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not even that they don't care, it's that they can't care.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Which is even
they're so overloaded.
Worse.
I mean, you literally
they're
see it on the pit.
understaffed, they're underfunded, they're not supported, they're working these long hours. Like, the healthcare system is fucked in this country. And meanwhile, we have a trillionaire that could fix it all in the blink of an eye.
Where you at, boy?
Yeah.
Now, once he was finally settled in the hospital in the fucking ICU, the intensive care unit.
They don't just throw anyone in there.
No, it takes a lot to go to the ICU. Dwight became the responsibility of Dr. David Wands, a third-year fellow in the cardiology department at the University of North Carolina. Now, unlike some of the other doctors who'd seen Dwight, Wands was young and he was very eager to prove himself on a complicated case that had baffled other more seasoned professionals.
Honestly, best case scenario.
It really is.
Yeah.
So the day after, this is where it starts to remind me of a pit episode.
Yeah.
The day after admittance, Dr. Wan sat down with Blanche, who was more than happy to fill in the details of her husband's medical mystery. She gave Wands a list of medications that Dwight had been on and tried to remember anything he had eaten right before becoming sick this time. And she also mentioned that he had been out in the garden spraying the weed killer. The mention of gardening got Dr. Wands to think that Dwight may have been inadvertently poisoned. Blanche told the doctor she didn't think that could be it, but she still agreed to return home and gather up all the pesticides they had in the house and come back with them. As soon as she left, Dr. Wands ordered a full toxicological workup for his patient.
Badass.
Yeah. So Blanche arrived home that afternoon to the phone ringing. It was Debbie on the other end calling to check on her father. Blanche seemed nonchalant and said her dad was in the hospital, but don't worry, it's just for some tests.
Oh, yeah. Everything's fine.
She said it's really just because he didn't trust the other doctors. I'm like, no, but she's been admitted to the ICU.
Yeah. Like, wow. Not telling his children that.
Well, luckily,
Fucked.
Debbie still wasn't comfortable with Blanche after her experience
Good for
with
Debbie.
the whole shopping thing. And there was something in Blanche's voice that made Debbie suspicious.
Oh, she knows.
So after hanging up with Blanche, Debbie called a friend who was more familiar with hospital systems and explained that she was hoping the friend might be able to call the doctor and ask the right questions to get some answers here. So Debbie's friend called and left a message for Dr. Wands, who returned the call a few hours later and absolutely insisted that Debbie and her brother should get to the hospital right away because they weren't sure if her father was going to make it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's how down bad he was.
Holy shit.
Again, he's in the fucking ICU.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. Quince makes it easy to create a summer wardrobe that you'll love, with elevated essentials made from premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk, without the traditional retail markup. I love that! Quince's 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops are the pieces that you absolutely will reach for all summer long. I absolutely love their linen. I have so many pairs of their linen pants, which you can dress up or you can dress down in the summer. Like, say you're going to a nice dinner, you can pair it with like a silk shirt, a really cute necklace, some good, makeup and an updo. Or if you're just looking for a more casual look, you can do the linen pants with like a loose button-up shirt and you still look really chic, kind of like, I don't know, Diane Keaton vibes, I kind of think. Also, it's not just apparel. Quince also offers elevated essentials for your home, from bedding and bath to kitchen essentials and furniture. They have it all, honey. I am a big lover of Quince, and I really do think you will be too. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/morbid for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/morbid for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Now, Dwight continued to deteriorate over the next few days to the point that death seemed inevitable and frankly imminent. The doctors could not figure out what was happening, and they were powerless to do anything more than slow the progress of whatever was killing him. Then, on May 13th, they got the break they needed when the toxicology report came back in. If there had been a different doctor on when the results arrived, maybe they would have dismissed the results as an anomaly or a false positive, who knows. But this time, the results came to that young hospital intern who took one fucking look at those results and was so shocked that he couldn't help but show everybody. Dwight's results showed a level of arsenic in his system that was 20 times the lethal dose.
Oh my gods.
20 times the lethal dose. According to author Jim Schutz, who again will link his book in the show notes, it was the most arsenic that had ever been found in any living human being in the history of the hospital. Enough to kill a large mammal.
Wow.
Enough
Holy
to
shit.
kill a large mammal is crazy.
That's nuts.
I'm literally picturing a bear.
Literally.
Like
Like,
20 times the lethal dose. How the fuck did this man survive?
I mean, he was suffering. Like, holy
Immensely.
shit.
Like, we can't actually even put into words
No.
how much he must have been
Can't even
suffering.
comprehend it.
Now, thinking that had to be a mistake, Dr. Wands called the lab, but they insisted that there was no mistake. They themselves were so shocked that they triple checked the results.
Wow. Yeah, because, I mean, I'm
You'd
sure they
never
never saw
expect
that before.
No. So suddenly everything started to make sense. Arsenic tends to behave like a chemical, but it's actually a heavy metal. So when they looked at the x-rays over and over, what the original doctors thought was a bowel obstruction was actually arsenic that had pooled in Dwight's intestines.
Oh.
Because it's a metal, the x-rays didn't penetrate the pool of arsenic, so that's why it looked like a mass.
That makes sense.
It also explained why, when those original doctors cut into him to remove the mass, there was nothing
no
there.
mass.
Arsenic will work through a person's system in a matter of days and would have been gone by the time the specialist followed up.
God damn. This young doctor.
A fucking winner,
Like,
baby.
damn.
So the test results were the critical missing piece of the puzzle. But while they may have been the key to solving the medical mystery at hand, they now raised a new question. How the fuck did the arsenic get there in the first place?
I'm
sure
I
we're
bet
stumped.
I know.
No, you're stumped.
Yeah, I have an idea.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Now, after asking the family members to step out into the hall, Dr. Wan sat right down next to Dwight's bed and explained what he found and asked that very question. He was like, how do you think this got into your system, buddy?
How'd you get so much arsenic?
Dwight was still in bad shape, but he had regained consciousness and appeared to be improved enough to think and talk. He told Dr. Wands that he'd been spraying weeds that afternoon just before lunch, so he thought maybe that was it. But the doctor was like, No household chemical contains that amount of arsenic. And if the heavy metal had been the problem all along, that meant that he would have had to have been consistently consuming it for almost a year.
So, like, who's feeding you arsenic?
So
Who's
Dwight,
feeding you?
yeah, Dwight would spend more than a month in the ICU,
Wow.
luckily steadily improving as the arsenic just worked its way out of his system. Given the unusual nature of the circumstances, though, he was moved to an isolation unit and assigned a sitter.
Wow.
So that meant somebody was in the room at all times, day and night.
Wow.
At no point could his family or hospital staff be allowed in that room without that sitter there.
Wow.
Because they knew somebody's
Something
going to
was
get in
off
here.
here.
Somebody in your fucking circle.
And they're going
is
to give you
poisoning
more
you.
arsenic. They're going to finish off the job if we leave you
Exactly.
alone. Holy,
Exactly.
that's actually terrifying.
Isn't it?
Oh my God.
So Wands and his supervisors contacted the police to report their findings. But the department was small and overworked, so they left a message and they waited for a return call.
Is anyone doing their job besides Dr. Wands?
No. Several days passed with no word back, so they decided to call the State Bureau of Investigation. A few days later, the case was assigned to investigators Dave McDougal and Phil Ayers. The first thing that the investigators did after speaking to the doctors was obviously to interview family members and people in Dwight's circle. Pretty much everybody was fucking baffled by the situation. Like, they were like, I don't know how that amount of arsenic got into him. But Blanche seemed the most invested in them being wrong. She dismissed the idea that anyone would try to kill Dwight, and instead she insisted, no, it must have been the chemicals that he used on the garden. She even went so far as to say that after spraying the lawn, Dwight wiped his hands on a kitchen towel, and she then used that towel to dry her face and had a bad reaction.
I doubt it.
But when she was reminded that the poison would have to be legitimately ingested, she came up with a news story about Dwight possibly having eaten tainted grapes just before their trip. But the doctors were like, no, he wouldn't ingest 20 times the lethal dose of arsenic by eating a couple of grapes.
And it's like, good try. Being someone who knows absolutely nothing about this, trying to tell people who know absolutely everything about this, that they're wrong.
She thought that she could out fucking smart anything because she always found a way to get what she wanted, usually by exhausting people.
But hey, girl, you fucked up.
You done fucked up. Because here's the thing. Her strategy would work when she dealt with store clerks, with the children of romantic partners that she had probably killed, and strangers. But one group that's not really going to work on is fucking law enforcement.
Exactly. Babe. And it's like, babe, you have a whole drag path behind you of men that have gotten violently, irrevocably ill and then died.
More than you think.
Yeah, I imagine.
Not just men.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, okay.
More than you think.
All right.
So the deeper doctors and investigators dug into Dwight's case, the more theatrical and over-emotional Blanche became. She fought with the doctors in the ICU about not getting to be alone with her husband.
I'd be like, there you go.
She accused the nurses of administering the poison, and she came up with an endless number of new theories as to how the arsenic got there in the first place.
Oh my God, I could never be around this woman.
She also, though, it was great that she was doing this because she couldn't have been more suspicious if she tried.
It's true.
Now, once Dwight was well enough to speak with the investigators, they sat down for a lengthy interview. Dwight couldn't think of anybody who would have wanted to kill him. He didn't think he had any enemies. They asked if he had life insurance, though, and he said, yeah, but hardly enough that would make a murder worthwhile. I'm not worth millions.
Yeah.
Then they got to the question of former spouses. Dwight was honest, and he said, I have an ex-wife. Our marriage ended because I had an affair, but we remained on good terms. She wouldn't poison me. And also, I don't think they really saw each other all that often.
And when they talked to Debbie, they were just kind of like, we all put it in the past. We're just moving forward and doing our own thing. They handled it in the most healthy manner I could imagine.
They really did.
As a family, to be honest, they're very impressive.
It really is. So as for Blanche, she had been married, but her husband died of a heart attack, he mentioned. Yeah. There was also her friend Raymond Reed, who died of something called Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Oh,
Yeah. So this was the first time that the agents had heard Raymond's name, but that wasn't what immediately jumped out to Agent McDougal. It was actually the mention of Guillain-Barré syndrome. While most agents probably wouldn't have been familiar with that, McDougal had a family member who had it, so he knew a little more than the average person. And most importantly, he knew that it's rarely fatal and it's usually manageable with the right treatment.
I also thought that.
Yeah. So in the first few weeks of June, the agents started digging into Blanche's past, and they were surprised to learn that not only did her husband James and her longtime boyfriend Raymond Reed die under unusual circumstances, but there were two other people relatively close to Blanche who had died also under suspicious, strange circumstances. Her father, PD, and a former coworker. A former coworker. We didn't hear about that till now.
Yeah.
So about a week into June, the investigators returned to Dwight, and they had more questions about Raymond. As far as Dwight knew, Blanche and Raymond were just coworkers, friends at most. But the detectives corrected his understanding of Blanche's relationship, and for the first time, he got the full view. A few days later, Dwight confronted Blanche about her relationship with Raymond, which also must have been fucking you gave me all this shit for me being honest with you about my past.
And this is what you were out there doing?
You have the same past.
Yeah.
Almost exactly the same past. You were cheating on your husband with a man you worked with for over a decade.
Yeah, except yours also includes suspicious deaths that are all around you.
Weird.
So I think yours is worse.
Yeah. According to Dwight's sister, Nola, she said, he told Blanche that she had betrayed him about Reed and said, I won't be able to trust you again, regardless of how the investigation turns out. This marriage is over.
Good for him.
Now, the end of Blanche and Dwight's relationship was just the first domino to fall. In mid-June, McDougal and Ayers got a warrant to exhume Raymond's body from the Pine Hill Cemetery.
Oh.
When the body was
examined...
But
she didn't think that was going to happen.
No. When the body was examined, the medical examiner did find trace amounts of arsenic in Raymond's liver, brain, kidneys, muscles, bones, and stomach.
Holy shit.
According to the coroner, the levels were, quote, greater than could be explained by a simple environmental exposure and are within the range of potential lethality.
And that's after he's been in the ground for a little
years.
while. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The discovery only strengthened what the agents had already come to suspect, that Blanche had been the one to administer the poison. Based on the new evidence, a superior court judge ordered the exhumation and autopsy of James Taylor's body in early July,
shit.
her ex-husband, or her husband. In a letter to the district attorney, the medical examiner wrote, "There is considerable speculation in regard to whether Taylor might have died of causes other than his known underlying heart disease." And the autopsy results showed similarly high levels of arsenic in his remains.
Jesus, she's a fucking beast.
The coroner told the press, given the historical circumstances, the autopsy findings, and the toxicological results, it is my opinion that Mr. Taylor died as a result of an episode of arsenic poisoning.
Whoa.
A few days later, on July 18th, 1989, Blanche was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Raymond Reed and James Taylor, and 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon for the poisoning of Dwight Moore.
Wow, good.
Her arrest kicked off a frenzy, and it seemed that anyone who had a friend or loved one die of suspicious circumstances sought to connect them to Blanche.
Damn.
Sheriff Richard Fry said, "It's impossible to pin down the numbers. People are calling us and giving us information, and we're checking on things, one step at a time." The bodies of P.D. Kaiser, her father, and Blanche's former mother-in-law, Isla Taylor, were also exhumed. And the autopsy found that they each died with elevated levels of arsenic in their systems. But unfortunately, by the time they were exhumed, the amount wasn't sufficient enough to say if it was the cause of death. But there was the fact that it was there.
I mean, I think we can all look at that objectively here.
Yeah, seriously. Outside of the investigation, Blanche's arrest came as a shock to a lot of people who knew her.
Yeah?
Yeah. Her daughter, Vanessa, told the press, "My mother is a very good woman. She flatly rejected the accusations," which, it's your mom. I'm sure
it's her
that's
mother.
hard for you to believe.
Yeah, I can understand that completely.
Blanche's sister-in-law, Dottie Kaiser, said, "The newspapers have made it very hard. We don't understand how all this could have popped up. It's a puzzle."
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But not everybody was entirely puzzled or surprised by her arrest. In talking to reporters, one of Dwight's family members remembered that Blanche, quote, projected herself very, very well at first, intelligent and thoughtful. But after a while, the family started to see another side of Blanche that was concerning. She seemed to lie about a lot of things, and eventually they weren't sure what she was lying about and what was true.
Oof.
Now, from the moment he stepped in to represent her, lawyer, Mitchell McIntyre, insisted the investigators had gotten every last thing wrong. The prosecutor, on the other hand, felt very confident that the agents had arrested the right person.
Yeah.
How many fucking people in your life are going to get exhumed and show signs of arsenic poisoning?
That's the thing. Like, you got to look at what's happening here.
Yeah. Regardless about how McIntyre felt with his client's innocence, the growing media interest in this story of the good Christian woman who was now a black widow was just as concerning as any evidence. Mm-hmm. By August, Dwight had recovered enough, luckily, that he was able to speak with the press. And he was characteristically compassionate. Despite his full awareness now that Blanche had allegedly tried to kill him, he said, "I have great sorrow for what she's going to have to go through, and I have great compassion for her well-being."
Wow.
Which I kind of love that he was just like, "I'm a better fucking person than you."
Well, and he was literally like, yeah, like, you're going to have to deal with this, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to go move on with my life.
He did tell reporters, though, that he hoped to speak with Blanche and maybe even visit her in jail.
Ooh.
When he was asked whether he intended to file for divorce, he said, "Now just doesn't seem like the right time to handle that."
This is just me. I feel like now's a great time to handle that.
I would get those papers signed real quick.
That would be my moment.
I feel like you'd be granted the speediest divorce of all time.
Absolutely.
Who really knows? I don't know how that process works, but
now seems like as good a time as any.
Yeah. No.
But I'm not there, so
who am I to say? By the time Blanche's trial arrived in October of 1990, Mitchell McIntyre was the picture of confidence, which is shocking.
Wild.
He wanted the public to see his client as a good Christian woman who had come from hard beginnings and spent most of her life taking care of the men around her. Okay. She was the woman, he said, who was brave enough to take on a large grocery chain, speak up for all the women who had been abused under her male supervisors. She was not a killer.
Two things can be true at once, too.
Also, she wasn't in that to stick up for other women. She was in it for money.
But if you're gonna play that game, it's like
she could have done that.
Those
she
are
also
mutually exclusive things. Like
right.
you can do both of them.
You can. Get you a girl who could do both.
Yeah.
Except maybe don't,
No,
because
yeah,
one's
don't.
murder.
Don't do that.
So if Mitchell McIntyre's position was that his client was a long-suffering, selfless woman, the prosecutor, Warren Sparrow.
Warren Sparrow.
I read that name and I said, bitch.
I said, who are you?
That's a novel name.
Who are you, Warren Sparrow?
Warren Sparrow is the protagonist in a like,
but he's
gothic
morally gray,
romance.
I feel.
Yeah.
Like in the best way.
But I want him to be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always want them to be
Warren
morally gray.
Sparrow. His mother made a great choice.
Yeah.
And he had a different story to tell. He was the prosecutor.
Yeah.
In his opening remarks, he told the jury, this trial is about secrecy. It's about pride, good and evil. It's about a woman who took on the power of deciding who shall live and who shall die.
Yeah.
Over the span of several weeks, the prosecution called dozens of witnesses, doctors, nurses. They called Raymond Reed's family, friends, coworkers at Kroger. Stevie and Ray Reed each testified about Blanche's attempts to swindle them out of a third of their father's estate.
Yeah.
The medical examiner, and we'll all laugh together, Dr. Butts.
Oh, we've had him before.
We have, I bet.
Yeah.
He spent hours explaining how arsenic poisoning manifested and could be mistaken for other diseases. And most crucially, Dwight took the stand and gave an account of his relationship with Blanche and also the agony he went through while being poisoned.
Truly, he has a harrowing tale to tell.
Also, I would play the fucking lottery after being served 20 times the lethal dose
And
of
somehow getting
argonist.
through it.
I can't speak argonist, I just said instead of arsenic.
Whatever it is.
But in living. Among other things, he testified that after entering the hospital for the last time, when it became clear that the doctor suspected foul play, Blanche insisted on cutting his hair. He testified, I could barely lift my hands off the bed. I was so swollen. I was on a ventilator.
What the fuck? I know why she did that, though.
Yep. Prosecutor Sparrow suggested Blanche had done this because she knew arsenic could show up in a person's hair long after they died.
That's diabolical as fuck.
He couldn't even lift his hands off the bed.
Yeah.
And she's ready to give him a haircut.
She's ready to chop his hair off. So
You're an evil cunt for that.
yeah, truly.
On November 7th, Blanche took the stand in her own defense, which was quite a choice.
Yeah, certainly is.
She gave more than 2.5 hours of testimony. She gave long, rambling answers to her own attorney's questions.
That's how you win over a jury.
Yeah, waste their time.
They love long, rambling answers.
Who doesn't?
They love it.
She became particularly heated when she was confronted with evidence or testimony that implicated her in Raymond Reed's death.
Yeah, evidence is rough.
Yeah, it is. At various points, she betrayed her attempt at a calm demeanor, like when she just yelled at the assistant prosecutor in the middle of her own testimony.
Whoa.
Yeah.
A choice.
The defense had clearly been hoping to humanize her, but according to the press, jurors often stared off into the courtroom during Blanche's testimony.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to hear that
You
shit.
want some quick, snappy, to the point, give the information, and get the fuck out of there.
Well, and it's like, you know your client.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen how she acts. You really want to put that girl on the stand for 2 hours, 2.5
Damn.
hours?
Are you sure you were on her side?
As Tatiana would say, choices.
Choices.
Now, Blanche's defense hinged largely on her stated belief that a man named Garvin Thomas had killed Raymond Reed.
Garvin
Thomas. She presented a letter of confession that she had received from Garvin himself while she
Whoa.
was in jail as evidence of her innocence.
A letter from Garvin, you say?
Yes.
Okay.
The prosecution, though, contended that there actually was no Garvin Thomas at all,
What?
and that Blanche herself had written the letter of confession, and it was she who killed Raymond Reed.
That's shocking.
Crazy. Sparrow asked the jury, when you combine all the evidence, what hits you directly in the face? This
Everything.
is not circumstantial. This is direct and powerful scientific evidence that points unerringly at the defendant.
Bravo.
Like, I just feel
Bravo.
like we dug up everyone she was ever involved
Connected
with
to
and
in any
connected
way.
to, and they all have arsenic in their systems.
Yes.
Why are we even here?
And I don't know if you heard that. We dug them up, meaning they all died. So
Thank you.
can we just look at what's going on here?
Is everybody ready?
Like, come on.
Now, in the end, the jury obviously found Warren Sparrow's case overwhelmingly compelling, and his name. On November 14th, 1990, after just a few hours of deliberation, they emerged to find Blanche Taylor Moore guilty of the first-degree murder of Raymond Reed. The first trial was just for Raymond.
Oh, yeah.
When the verdict was read, Blanche was overheard whispering, "I can't believe it," to
Really?
her lawyer.
You can't?
The verdict was obviously a huge relief to Raymond's friends and his family, but the jury's finding left Dwight Moore with a sense of sadness. Not just for
course.
Blanche, but for everybody. He said, in her own distorted way, I think it was easier for her to kill than end a relationship.
Okay.
Wild. Raymond's ex-wife, Linda Sykes, was similarly compassionate toward Blanche.
Whoa.
She said, I want to go on. I want to go forward with our lives. But honest to God, I hurt for her family. I hurt for her children.
I can get behind that.
I can totally
I
get
can
behind
get behind that for sure.
2 days later, Blanche was back before the judge for sentencing, and the jury deliberated for a little over 4 hours before they recommended, as we all know, the death penalty.
Because she's the oldest lady on death row.
She do be. When the recommendation was made, all Blanche said was, "Oh God," as she closed her eyes and just shook her head back and forth.
Didn't see that coming.
Babe, you
Like,
killed everyone with arsenic.
You didn't think that was on the horizon, maybe?
Girl.
Maybe on the menu?
Miss
Like,
Girl.
you didn't think that was a possibility?
You just thought you could kill everyone
Yeah.
forever?
You get to choose who lives and who dies?
Not now. So after accepting the sentence, the judge set an execution date for January 18th, 1991.
Spoiler alert.
Pending all appeals. Yeah, spoiler alert. After the sentencing in the Raymond Reed murder trial, the DA decided to drop all the other charges because she's already going to die. Since the sentence was handed down more than 30 years ago, Blanche's appeals and various motions have been hung up in court, ultimately obviously delaying her execution. As of today, she does remain an inmate at the North Carolina Correctional Institute for Women. And at 93 years old, she is the oldest woman on death row in the United States.
What is the point?
And actually, I believe she is the oldest person on death row.
What is the point? At this point, just let
She's gonna
time
just
take
die
its
on
course.
death row.
So, like, that's the, like, just...
Yeah.
I mean, which I'm glad. I'm glad that she's had to sit there for 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if she has the capacity to look inward and see what she's done.
But at least she isn't just like out in the world existing.
She's not out in the world existing, and she
poisoning.
wasn't just killed off the bat. You know what I mean? Like, she's had to sit around for 30 years and realize the hurt she caused.
Hopefully she can.
And I hope she has figured it out. I hope she's been confronted with it.
You would hope so.
I really do.
93 years old, though.
93 years. And if you look up a picture of her, you're just like, that's just a grandma.
Literally, she just looks like kind of a sweet grandma.
She looks like a grandma. But
You
to
don't think
me,
a sweet grandma?
she looks like a grandma that she wasn't going to like, I mean, she definitely wasn't going to bake you cookies. She wasn't going to do
She would have baked you
anything
cookies to kill you.
I think she was going to be that grandma that kind of like smokes cigs and like yells at you a little bit.
You think so? Yeah.
You know,
I could
like
see that.
she kind of gives me that vibe. Maybe it's because I know too much about her.
Probably.
But yeah,
Fucking wild, though.
it's shocking. 93.
She's a scary woman.
93.
And I just picture Dwight laying on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
And she's just like, so I'm going to hang up some curtains over there. And I think I'll paint some pictures on that wall.
That's the thing. Like, that alone.
And he's just projectile vomiting.
Shows you that she's got nothing. Like, she's got no compassion for any. Because if you can allow that to happen next to you and feel nothing about it, that's wild.
It's wild. Absolutely wild.
Whew.
What a story.
What a story.
Do you have a fun fact, honey?
I do have a fun fact. So I found this one on BBC Science Focus.
Oh, that's for real.
Orcas wear other animals as hats.
What?
Yep. Scientists have observed dolphins playing catch with pufferfish and octopuses.
What?
And orcas wearing dead fish as hats. And no one knows why.
I know why. It's a
They
fuck you.
just like to.
Yeah, it's a fuck you.
They wear dead animals as hats.
That's like on True Blood when Lorena tells Sookie she's going to kill her and then wear her ribcage as a hat.
Yeah.
She's an orca.
And orcas said, I heard that.
Orcas are low-key fucked.
They're fucking terrifying. They are too intelligent to be in the ocean.
No, that's why they're in the ocean.
It makes me scared. That's why I respect the ocean so much.
I don't fucks with it.
I don't belong in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fun.
They're just out there.
You have a weird idea of fun facts.
I mean, like, because the visual is silly if you make it cartoonish, but then you bring it into reality and it gets a little weird.
I immediately got a
So
real
this is more of like a, whoa, fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
Keep
it
weird. Maybe so weird that you wear your enemy as a hat.
There you go.
Just don't kill him.
Yeah, don't do that. Just wear him as a hat.
Shit, that's a visual and a half, dog.
It was a good one.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter, from plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find a pro for your project at Angie.com.
Your phone is your lifeline. Calling your kid to say goodnight, waiting on a job callback, or just sending a meme to your best friend when it's been that kind of day. Wherever life takes you, the TextNow app keeps you connected for free. Get a real phone number, unlimited talk and text, and 5G data for your favorite apps, all for $0 a month. No fixed contracts, no hidden fees, no panic when bills pile up, just phone service that's there when it matters most. TextNow, we've got your back. Download TextNow in your app store today. Wireless plans require the purchase of a SIM card. Visit textnow.com for terms and conditions.